Awaken to hair growth. Awaken to hair growth because there is possibility to get your hair back. Awaken to hair growth because we're not told that we're able to conquer and overcome alopecia. Awaken to hair growth because I want to be a positive light and beacon for you because I've healed my alopecia and now I help others do the same with different types of alopecia, men, women, children of all ages, of all races and ethnicities.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me to the Alopecia Angel podcast, Awaken to Hair Growth. I am your host, Johanna Dahlman. And today we are talking about your future self part 2. This is really continuing on off of last week that we spoke about your future self and how to obtain that and how to really look for that. And in my case, this kind of segues perfectly into what's next. What's next after alopecia? What's next in terms of health? And, being in my 40s, I start to think, okay, how is it that when I see myself in my 80s or in my 90s, how is it that I can be ageless? Absolutely ageless. And what I mean by ageless is, I mean thinking clear, being extremely lucid, not forgetting where I misplaced my keys, not forgetting the names of my children, not forgetting life events that were so important to me, not forgetting like the little inside jokes that me and my husband had, and so much more. I want to get to old age, so to speak, in extreme healthy conditions, not worrying about anything. I want to be, disease-free. I want to have my whole hair, full health. I want to be vibrant. I want to be just loving life, having purpose, and grabbing life by the horns, really, and just enjoying it and relishing in good health. Because to me, investing in my health is wealth. Yes, we have wealth with our retirement funds. Yes, we have wealth with our money in the bank. But in all honesty, I believe that health is your true wealth, because what's the point of having let's say a big bank account or a big retirement fund if you're going to be handicapped, or if you're going to be not being able to think for yourself, or not being able to drive, or not being able to walk, or not being able to be as mobile as you'd like, or forgetting the names of your family members, or you know what I mean? It's just, how is it that you want to age? How is it that you want to defy the aging process? Many times I have clients who tell me, I went to the dermatologist or to the doctor and they say my hair loss is because of aging. And I want to call that out, because it's not because of aging. It's because of we are living in a way that's not supporting our bodies. We have habits that don't lead us to better health, that don't promote better hair. And in all honesty, when it comes to health in general, your hair is the last thing that your body is thinking about. Let me repeat that. Hair is the last thing that your body is thinking about. So it's thinking first and foremost to keep you alive. That's its job, to keep you alive with good oxygen, with your lungs and your liver and your kidneys and your heart. Those are your main organs, right? Your skin is an organ too. Your hair is not an organ. Your hair is not vital for your survival. And so understanding that really shifts the way we live. It shifts and almost, at least for me, forces me to live in a better way, because if my body's not thinking about my hair, then I need to think about my hair. Does that make sense? What can I do to move the needle to bring my hair to better growth, more abundant growth, and having it healthy overall? What can I do to mitigate the harmful things that I do, like coloring, like highlights, like this, like that I can mitigate and promote better health so that I have better hair, not just for today, but until I die, until, I'm 110 years old. And if you've looked at those centenarians, right, we always love to talk about the blue zones, and we always like to talk about the centenarians and how they live long, but in what capacity are they living long? How are they living long? Are they just strapped to a wheelchair and just looking at the clock go by every day? How is it that they're living? And to everyone, this is a very personal approach. It's a very personal decision. Personally, I want to live healthy, vibrant, active, mind, body, and spirit, very active mind, body, and spirit until the day that there's no more days, until the day that it's done. But at the same time, it's up to me to do the work now for that to happen. right? It's up to me to lay the foundation for that to happen. Just like I had to switch out foundations, switch out so many things for my hair to come back and heal from alopecia. Now I'm thinking about how to be ageless. And a lot of times that comes with investing in our health. And when I say investing in our health, I mean learning more. So for example, I just got back from a health conference and I absolutely loved this health conference. It just brought so much light and education, and it infused me with so much energy. It really did, because there's so many gadget and gizmos out there. There's so much technology out there. There's so much distractions, right? To say the least, there's a lot of distractions, but there's a lot of gadget and gizmos that some work, some are worth your money, some are not worth your money. And I got to play with a lot of them. I got to try them out, and I'll be talking about these gadgets and gizmos later on in another podcast. But it's quite exciting to see how I can take aspects of my health to that next level. How can I get to that next level? Because if we're thinking in the same mindset of before, oh, all I have to do is just, watch my diet and exercise. Well, no, it's not that. And it's so much more. And there's so many things, tips and tricks that you can do to not have to spend half your day in the gym and not have to spend your day slaving away in front of the stove. There's so many ways and shortcuts to better our health. And this is what I love learning and looking at. And I want to be ageless, and I want to be taking my health to that next level without Botox, without wigs, without hair transplants, without any of these things that don't align with my values. I want to be natural as much as possible and, get to that old age looking, feeling, and just exuding true health. And if you're like me, that's also what you want. Yes, I have a new program coming out for those who want to defy aging and defy the aging process. Yes, that's coming out shortly. But at the same time, there are so many things we can do, and investing in our health is that next level. And it also starts today. Even with your situation with alopecia, investing in your health is necessary for your alopecia to heal. Investing in yourself and in your health is necessary for that next step, for you to upgrade. Because like I said in the last week's podcast, what got you here won't get you there. This is a huge pattern of everyone's life, right? Just because you went to kindergarten all the way through 8th grade doesn't mean you can graduate college the next day. You can't, because you're still missing high school, right? And so just because you went to elementary school, you still need secondary school to get to college. And so it's necessary. You can't just skip over. And when it comes to health and healing, you also just can't skip over. There's a lot of steps involved. And for each one of us, it's going to look very different. For someone who's, for example, someone who wants to take on yoga for the first time in their life, and, they buy their spandex and the cute outfit and they get their yoga mat and they're like, I'm ready. Let's do, 90 minutes of Bikram yoga, or let's do 90 minutes of hot yoga. They can't just go into class right away. They need to ease into it, because they could, be dehydrated. They can get dizzy. They can faint. There's so many things that could happen in hot yoga. And so you need to ease into it. You can't just jump in, especially if you've never done it before. And so these are things that, for some of us, it will be baby steps, and for others, it won't. And you could kind of, skip ahead or test out, as I like to say, putting it into school terms. You can test out and test into that next level if you're ready for it. And so if you're an eager beaver like I am, you're all about this. You're all about healthy upgrades and getting to that next level. And so investing in yourself is the root end of this. And before alopecia, I invested in other things. I thought other things were more important than my health. And a lot of times, truth be told, I didn't understand the health and wellness industry either. I was really guided, let's say, by a regular shop person telling me which vitamins I needed. I didn't know exactly how to decipher or navigate these uncharted waters. But once I understood exactly how to read the labels, once I understood exactly to understand what is good, how it connects the dots, what is actually contraindication of each other and what doesn't go with what, then everything becomes very, very easy to understand, at least for me. And this is how you're able to navigate and to take on more and to really improve and tweak down to the last minute detail of your health. And it's not just adding a supplement. It's not just doing one thing or two things. Because I have these conversations with friends and family all the time about, oh, I have this pain or I have that pain. What can I do? Well, the thing is, you have to look at it as a holistic program. You have to see yourself as a holistic person. It's mind, body, spirit. So there could be many things happening with just something simple as, let's say, back pain or a headache or a migraine. There could be so many things underlining and so many things that are involved. But if you're if you're like me, investing in your health becomes a no-brainer when it's to improve, when it's to get yourself to the next grade, when it's to get yourself to that top tier level, high performance level of being just incredible in terms of health. And the thing is, it's like, you'll see it. You'll see it in your nails. You'll see it in your hair. You'll see it in your skin. Today, a family member said to me over FaceTime that I was glowing. And it's a beautiful thing to be told these things. I know he meant it sincerely, and it's a beautiful thing to be acknowledged, because health comes from within. I could wear a lot of makeup, and I'm sure you've seen people who wear a lot of makeup, but you could also see the unhealthy skin that's underneath, right? You've seen it. I know you've seen it. You can see that unhealthy skin that's underneath, and it's just matted down with that heavy makeup. You could also see the quality of people's hair. And for someone who's in hair, I notice people's hair. And I notice people's hair, not just if they have alopecia or not, but then also the quality of their hair, because that also stems from the health of inside the body. So many times our body leaves clues, and it leaves us, details, just kind of like how if a child, you send your child to go clean up their room, and they hide toys and they're hiding it underneath the bed or underneath the pillows, you see how lumpy the pillow is, or the comforter, or the bed is, or the mattress, or you see like how things are hidden. You can see this within you too. And your body gives us clues about that. But going back to investing in your health can be in so many ways. It could be, educating yourself more, dedicating more books, doing more courses. It could also be getting consults. It could also be going to health conferences. It could also be, aligning yourself with people, with groups, with friends, making friends who are of the same wavelength and pattern, who are in the same energy of wanting to better themselves. And, have you ever thought about, let's say, doing retreats? Or I've done many yoga retreats. And so when you see yoga retreats, you tend to see people who are like-minded. Now, granted, we're not all the same. We're not all from the same country. We don't all have the same diet. We don't all have the same beliefs, but our values are very, very similar. Our values, what we believe, how we treat people are all very similar. And so, for example, I connect a lot with people who are yogis, or people who are into Pilates, or people who are, of a certain nature. And so if you do, let's say, one sport, I can already know that we'll probably have some things in common. I met this girl the other day, and she used to be a cheerleader back in college. And you could hear the pep in her voice and in her, persona that just shines through. And I was like, oh, that's nice. I used to be a cheerleader too, back in like 5th grade, 6th grade. And so it's like we had something in common, and we have many things in common too. We're not the same, obviously, but we have similar things in common. And so what I'm trying to say is, find your tribe, find people who are going to up-level you, who are going to take you to that next level, who are of like-mindedness. Because if you want to get healthy, if you want to get, your hair growing, this is where the magic happens, is by investing in yourself, by, being open to buying, a product or a program, or investing in yourself and, getting a consult, or et cetera, because this is what's needed. If you're trying to find everything through insurance, well, wow, I have news for you. It's not going to happen. And it's not going to happen because not only do I have experience with health insurance in the US, but I also have experience with health insurance in Europe and now in Asia. I've lived in several different countries. This will be actually another podcast in the future, but I've lived in Brazil, in Argentina, in the Netherlands, in the US, and not just in one state, but like in 5 different states. And I've also am now living in Japan. And so talk about an understanding of global healthcare and how to navigate that. But at the time of my alopecia, quick story, at the time of alopecia, like in the Netherlands and in the US, there was like no options for me. What they told me in the Netherlands was a joke. And what they told me in Colorado and in California was just too aggressive or not aggressive enough. And so I forged my own path. And many times you have to do this when it comes to your health. My mom, she's in her 60s. And so she has friends now who are around her age or older. And she's starting to see people who are dying or having heart attacks or who are suddenly getting a stroke or suddenly having some sort of health complication. And again, people want to attribute this to old age when it's not old age. It's what we've been doing to ourselves. It's how we've been living for so long. And in her case, with her friends, it's like she has one friend in particular who just got diagnosed with breast cancer. But if you had a breast cancer diagnosis and you see options with conventional medicine, I would say take a look and see what other options there are. Look at all options. And I even recall as a child when my uncle had a brain tumor, we went to doctors at UCLA in Los Angeles, and the nurse came in and was like, "Oh, you have 3 to 6 months to live." And he was 24 years old, just newly married. And essentially at 24, you have the rest of your life in front of you. And so my family took upon themselves to look at other options, to look at everything from like shamans to, all different types of alternative medicine, alternative therapies. And, I was really young at that time, but at the same time, those options have just been more proliferated now. And now there's more options than before. So what I would say to you is don't corner yourself if you just are tied to insurance, because more than likely insurance won't cover what you need. More than likely it won't. And more than likely you're going to have to go out of it, just like I did. I had to go out of the box, out of insurance for my alopecia. And I had to do that for many other times. And other times insurance is great. But you have to also understand how to navigate those waters, because many times it's not enough and it doesn't cover enough, or guess what? The wait is too long. And from what I see with all my international clients is that the wait is too long and what they're telling you for your alopecia is a joke. But I'm going to leave that topic of international healthcare for another podcast episode, because that one is really deep and I really want to give it the time it needs. But for this one, just be mindful that investing in yourself equals so much more than that retirement fund, equals so much more than your bank account. Because at the end of the day, I know hair loss, I know alopecia is driving you crazy. I know it's depressing. I know it's ridding you with anxiety and angst. I know it's taken a huge emotional toll on you. And I know that you can get out of it. I know that you can heal. I know that you can reverse this. But again, it's a decision. It's a choice. We choose to heal. We choose to want to take action. We choose to want to take that next step. So I invite you to learn more. I have tons of resources, free PDFs to download. You have my podcast. I have blogs. I have tons of information in Spanish as well. I have books in Portuguese and in Dutch. So I really do try to cater to multiple languages and communities out there who are struggling with alopecia, because I know how hard it is to find information online about alopecia, especially going the natural route. And if your health is important to you as it is for me, the only route is the natural route. The only route for healing is the natural route, because there are no other viable solutions with medicine, with pharmaceuticals, with the serums, with the shampoos, with the Rogaines and the minoxidils. None of that works long-term. None of that works for long-term natural results. The only thing that can give you long-term results is healing from the inside out with the Hair and Heal program. So I invite you to learn more. Check us out at alopeciaangel.com. And I look forward to talking to you next time. Take care.
Thank you for listening to the Alopecia Angel podcast, a positive light in healing alopecia. You can do this and we can help. Spread the word that reversing alopecia is possible by telling your friends and family.